16 Common House Flipper Mistakes. When you binge watch a little too much HGTV, it's easy to come to some crazy conclusions. Conclusions like, house flipping looks easy. I should try it. Well, maybe you should, we sure won't stop you, but before you jump into your very first home flip, make sure you know what common mistakes first-time flippers are in danger of making so that you can avoid the same fate. Not having the finances. Before you flip a house, you have to buy it. Depending on whether you're paying all cash or getting a mortgage loan, and whether you already own a primary residence or not, you will have to secure a down payment for the home, plan on paying mortgage interest for the months that you carry the mortgage, pay for utilities, and pay for the expenses of actually fixing up the home. You might be tempted to assume that this will be a quick and easy project, but similar assumptions have taken down more experienced house flippers than you. It's much better to overestimate how long it will take than to underestimate. That way you can make sure you have enough money to cover the flip. One money-saving tactic could be to move into the house while you renovate it, then you won't be paying rent elsewhere. Be warned, though, that unless you live in the home for 2 years, you will still have to pay capital gains tax on any profit made from the flip. Buying the wrong property. Like Goldilocks, you want a home that's just right, not too expensive, or you won't make any money, and not in too bad of shape, or you'll spend more than you planned to fix it. Paying too much for a home is one of the worst things you can do as a house flipper, so it might help to secure some real estate expertise from a local professional who can give you a good idea of what fair market prices look like and help you ascertain if your offer looks good or if you want to seek out a better deal. Additionally, a professional can help you understand how much profit you could potentially make, which is also easy to overestimate as a first-timer. And they can make sure you're following the 70% rule. What's that? Well, not following the 70% rule. Most fix and flip investors who have been doing the job for a while know and adhere to this rule. It's not very complicated, but you may be tempted to indulge in some creative math to make the numbers work. Resist. That's a form of rule breaking. You do not want to pay more for a property than 70% of its fixed-up fair market value. So in other words, if you're eyeing a home, and you have it on good authority from several people that after you fix it, you could sell it for $200,000, do not offer more than $140,000 for that home. That is your 70% threshold. This will give you wiggle room to pay for the repairs and upgrades and to still make a profit. Forgetting to make the budget. Are you getting the idea yet that flipping a home is a big exercise in math? Well, if you haven't started laying all these costs out in a spreadsheet and figuring out what you can spend where, then start. You'll want to consider both the cost of the home, either paying for it outright or paying the monthly mortgage plus insurance, taxes, and any other expenses, the costs of the upgrades, the amount of time those upgrades will take, and the time on market once it's ready to sell. Again, a real estate professional, or another experienced house flipper, can give you a solid ballpark for all of these metrics if you don't even know where to start. Not getting an inspection. When you're paying cash and you're in a hurry, and you already know there's a lot to fix in the home, then it can be tempting to skip the pre-sale inspection. Why bother? Because that inspector might find a serious problem that's going to cost you more to fix than you can afford. Foundation or structural issues are usually not cheap to solve and can eat up most, if not all, of your budget if they emerge unexpectedly. Plus, when the time comes to sell the home, you'll know that everything was done to get it into perfect condition if you bothered with an inspection. Not securing the right permits. Before you start pulling out the sledgehammers for demolition, it's a good idea to ascertain which permits you're going to need for your upgrades. You don't want to do all the work on a project only to discover that you needed a permit and might need to redo some or all of it. Again, a real estate professional or someone who's flipped houses before can help you here. They will have an idea of what permits are needed and can help you start the application process before you need them, not after. Multitasking. When it's time to actually get started on the work, you may be tempted to flit from project to project so that you can feel like you're accomplishing something. Why continue working on that item that's going to take a week to finish when you can just run over and finish 2 or 3 things really quickly? If you've read anything about research on multitasking, then you already know the answer. It makes you much less efficient than if you focused on one thing and saw it through to the end. Make a list of things that need to be done, and if you want to feel that sense of accomplishment, then plan to spend your morning working on major projects, and your afternoon on little items that help you feel like you've finished at least one thing. Overestimating what you can do yourself. With the existence of YouTube, it's pretty tempting to think that you can do anything with the right tools and a video. But this is a major investment, and you are probably not qualified to do most of it. Putting a wall up